Hello everyone, and welcome to a video that's going to be my 2016-17 Premier League prediction. So I'm going to be predicting where teams are going to finish, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit of why I think they're going to finish there. So anyway, let's hop into this. This is going to be me predicting the relegation battle. I think last place will be Burnley. I don't think Burnley have enough quality to really get through the Premier League. There's a lot of expensive teams out there, and Burnley are not one of them. They just don't. I just don't think they're gonna have what it takes. They don't have a spectacular manager. The manager's not bad, but he's not. It's not like he's a Rafa Benitez in the Championship. And if they can get Andre Gray scoring, maybe they could finish a little higher. But I'm predicting Burnley to go down. And right next to them at 19th, I'm going with Hull City. And this is a sad one for me. Hull City. I have a soft spot for Hull City. I've always had a really weird affection for Hull City, because my first season I ever really watched football was the season Hull City got relegated from the Premier League, and I watched their final game day because I liked the badge, I liked the Hull City Tigers, I liked that whole thing, and they got relegated on the final day when Newcastle's I think they beat Villa, and Hull lost. Hull drew with Man United. They probably should have beat Man United, but it wouldn't have mattered because Newcastle won. But as we know, Newcastle are now in the Championship, or Hull are in the Premier League, so that's always good. And now, in 18th, I'm going for Sunderland. David Moyes isn't a bad manager, but I don't know if he can save them. I think Big Sam's a big loss, because Big Sam's a very good manager, in my opinion. He does his job. He saves teams. With Sunderland, he finished pretty well, considering Sunderland, their team was completely crap, and he brought in some decent players. So that's why I'm going for Sunderland in 18th. They don't have the best players in the world, and I just don't think they're going to be able to get through it. And now we're going to have the 17th to 13th position. These are the clubs that are kind of lower end of mid-table, and the 16th and 17th are perhaps just avoiding relegation. So in 17th, I'm going to have Bournemouth. Bournemouth survived the Premier League last season, which was a very impressive feat, but I'm not sure they're going to go on and be one of those teams that establish themselves. I think they're going to be in a relegation battle again, unless they can prove me wrong and sign some very good players, but I think 17th is a reasonable prediction. And then in 16th, I'm going to go for West Brom. Now, West Brom, they're always one of those teams that you hate to come up against because they're just so annoying to play against. They just defend well, and then they really make the most of set pieces, which is something good they do. But I can't see them honestly getting much out of this season. With the squad they have, it's got to stop working at some point, right? Tony Pulis is a great defensive manager, but Salomon Rondon was the top scorer with 9 goals last season. That is ridiculous. You can't have a leading striker scoring 9 goals. I think Rondon could do a lot better if he was at a different club that was more attacking, but 9 goals for West Brom. They were the second lowest scoring team in the league behind Aston Villa, and yeah, they're going to stay up, but they're not going to have a great season. 15th, I have Premier League new boys, Middlesbrough. This is the only promoted team I'm predicting to stay up. Middlesbrough have done some really good things in the transfer market. Victor Fisher is a good player. Alvaro Negredo, decent player, had a good goal-scoring record with Man City. Victor Valdez is a proven keeper, and back when he played for Barcelona. So I think that's a really good signing as well. So hopefully with those new signings and Jordan Rhodes firing in the Premier League, which I think he will, Middlesbrough will have a pretty decent season. And then all the way in 14th, we got Watford. Some people were predicting Watford to go down. Like I saw Matt HD Gamer's video, he's saying Watford will go down. I honestly don't see how that would happen. They had a really good season for a newly promoted team. Just kind of like I think Middlesbrough will have. I think they'll be the Watford of this year. But Watford have added some decent players. They haven't lost anyone. Troy Deeney, Odion Aguero, Isaac Success, Pantilemon's a great keeper. Gomes was a good keeper for them last year. Neom signed a new contract. They've got a really solid base building for a team. I think a few signings, they could probably move up the table a little bit, but only time will tell. And in 13th, I am going with Crystal Palace. They've got a decent squad. They're nothing special. A mid-table finish is probably what they're going to do. I can't see them doing much worse or much better. So now we're on to the 12th to 8th position. These are the teams that are in the heart of the table, and the 8th position and 9th position are really pushing towards Europa League. In 12th, I am going to predict Swansea City. They've got a decent squad, but it's very similar to last year. They didn't make many improvements. They signed Leroy Fer permanently from QPR. He's a good player, but I don't think that's enough to propel them up the table at all. And then in 11th position, I'm going with Southampton. They've lost some big players like Graziano Pella, Sadio Mane, and they haven't really replaced them all that well. So I'm predicting them to not have a great season. 11th position isn't bad, but it's not probably what the Southampton fans want. In 10th position, we've got Stoke City, and I think Stoke are going to have a really good season for their standards. Bojan, Diouf, Shaqiri, Arnautovic, who's a spectacular player in my opinion. They're all very good attacking threats, but they don't have a good defensive line. They don't have an all-around great team to propel them up that table towards Europa League spots. And Jack Butland's a great keeper, so I think that's going to win them quite a few points this year. In 9th, we're going to go with Everton. I think they're going to bounce back this season a bit. Not all the way, but they just sold, it's like breaking news, they just sold Stones to Man City for like £42 million plus bonuses, which is it's a decently sized loss for Everton, but that money is very good for a player like John Stones. I don't really rate Stones. He's young, so he could be a lot better in the future, but don't rate him currently. But yeah, I think Everton, if they use that money wisely, they will have a pretty decent season. And then for 8th position, I'm going with West Ham United. They made some really good, they always make good signings. Andre Ayew for £20.5 million was not one of them. I think that is extremely overpriced. That was a club record transfer fee, and I really don't think he's a club record transfer fee kind of player. I think he's good. Swansea got him on a free, and they're making £20.5 million, which is good business from Swansea. But yeah, West Ham, that wasn't a great signing, but I think he'll still be good. You got Dimitri Payet, you got Guy Cantore, Arthur Masuaku, and I think there's one Argentine wonder kid they signed, Jonathan Cagliari, I think. I could be wrong, but I think they'll have a pretty decent season, finishing in 9th. Not as good as last season, but still good nonetheless. And now we're into the 7th, the 6th, and the 5th, the Europa League contenders in here. Let's go. Liverpool in 7th position. So yeah, Liverpool I'm predicting to finish in 7th position because Klopp's a great manager. He's starting to put together a really nice squad. And I think with the additions he's made, like Mane, Wijnaldum, and some of the people he's getting rid of soon, I think they'll have a pretty good season. And I don't think any Liverpool fan's going to complain about that. And then maybe next year, if he can keep on this track, he'll improve into the top 5. For 6th place, I'm going for former Premier League champions, Leicester City. I think they lost Conte, which is a huge loss, and they could lose Mahrez. But I think they still have just the mentality that Ranieri implements, hard work and pressuring the ball. And Vardy's still a great goal scorer, as we saw in the Community Shield. So I'm a Leicester fan in the Premier League, so I'm not too worried. I've been a Leicester fan since like 2014, before they started having success, so I'm not a bandwagon. Kasper Schmeichel was the reason I started liking Leicester, actually, because my brother's a Man United fan, and Peter Schmeichel is one of the best goalies of all time, and I play goalie in real life, and I found out his son plays for Leicester, and I was like, ooh, the Foxes, that's pretty cool. So that was my first favorite football team, besides AC Milan. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get into 5th position. I'm going for Tottenham Hotspur in 5th position. I think they'll have a pretty decent season. Europa League, no one's going to complain for Tottenham. But I do not think they will do as well as last season. Not for the fact that they're not good enough. They haven't improved too much, and there are teams that are left in the top 4 that I think are much stronger. as of Chelsea, they'll have a comeback season with Conte and Conte, actually the center mid and the manager. But I think they'll reclaim a top 4 spot. So Spurs finishing in 5th isn't too bad. And now let's get into the top 4, the 4 Champions League spots in the Barclays Premier League. And in 4th, I am going with Chelsea. They had a really poor season last year. I think they finished in 10th. But Chelsea have built a decent squad. They're losing Diego Costa, but I think you can replace him. Not too difficult. Batshuayi, he's a good signing. I think Eden Hazard, he'll be just like a new transfer, actually like waking up and starting to play football. So yeah, that could help them out a bit. And then we have Arsenal, I think are going to finish in 3rd. Arsenal, they're just Arsenal. They're not a spectacular team just because of their own stupidity. They will not go out and spend the money that they have. That's one thing I'm stressing here. They're not spending the money that they have to buy a world-class striker and a world-class center back that will propel them to the top of the league. They have a great squad with Sanchez, Ozil, Petr Cech, so I think is really their own downfall here. Wenger out, right? And now for the second position, drum roll please, I am going to go with Manchester United. Manchester United, they have made some fantastic signings. Pogba, Ibrahimovic, Mkhitaryan, Bertrand Bailey, and most of all Mourinho, who attracted all those players, because none of those players would want to come to any Europa League team. But because Mourinho, he's attracted them in, and I don't think they have what it takes to beat the first team. I think they are so close. I think they need to start gelling as a squad together and get rid of a bit of crap and shore up that defense with a couple better players. Like the right back spot is complete trash. I think the backups for the center back aren't great. And I think one injury, Man United will have some trouble, but second place is great for the Man United fans. And now, for first, I'm going to go with the only team that's left, Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, my man, I dedicated a whole series to him on my channel, and he will not disappoint this season, I don't think. I think Manchester City should have won the league last year. All the other big teams were weak, but City lost out, and with the squad they had, it was unacceptable. That's why Pellegrini is not there anymore. But Pep Guardiola, I think he's probably the best manager in the world. Him or Mourinho have to be there. And with the squad he has and the signings he's made, I think he is going to win the league. Like John Stones, he could be an alright player. Leroy Sané, Gabriel Jesus, and with the players he's already got, like Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Aguero, who I think is going to be the Premier League top scorer this year. But anyway, guys, as you can probably tell, my voice is going, so I'm going to end this video right now. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more football talk videos like this, let me know what you would want to see. Leave it in the comments down below. Smash a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.